lot more Rampart and Crypto going into this next game. And again, game number 8, finding ourselves back on Storm Point.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, you know, Crypto was a legend. Game number 5, game number 4 definitely did see bans around that area, but with that shift, with Watson taking up one of the earlier priority bans, it has actually increased his shelf life throughout all this. The fact that he's still here in match number 8 is kind of crazy to me.
Interesting. See more teams kind of playing into their comfort, because, you know, if you don't have the Crypto, it's usually the Sparrow coming out instead. But what I do think that we were seeing teams kind of piggyback off of the Ballistic and Rampart coming out to play, or that Bangalore, like you mentioned too, for teams that feel more comfortable. But it's usually that Ballistic Crypto or Ballistic and Rampart that we've had intertwining going into these different compositions, introducing these legend bands. As we take a look at Na'Vi, we highlight their POI over by Cedo Station as they start off feeling happy. You saw the pop-offs of the cameras, which is great, honestly. The stage is insane, but it's even cooler to see our player cams up to date, seeing how they feel, and moving on to momentum being as important as it is on Storm Point, while also looking at where our zone is going to be taking us, Jamerson.
Yeah, this is more of a northern pull, but we'll get confirmation in just a bit as soon as that ring console reveals itself. But for Na'Vi, again, very nice win for them. They don't have to really change up anything at all whatsoever in terms of their composition, and so they can continue to play that same game, but it's not going to be the same because this ring is now pulling up to the north side. We saw it for a split second there. There he goes. He came back. Don't be shy. The wall is where we are going, possibly here. Of course, with this zone in particular, we can see it kind of split the middle between Command Center and the wall. So it's going to be interesting to see, how does TSM, the team that is at the wall right now, approach this? For Fnatic, a team that's right there at Trident that can easily make that rotation, where do they want to take in terms of priority positions?
Or are they going to be thirsty? I'm thinking about Fnatic in this case, right? Because lackluster loot when you land over there by Trident, where you try to bank on playing more so objective. You do have that Evil Harvester that's right there, but is it enough? Do you want to take early fights? Because you know teams are going to go in for early rotates. Kenotrope is already on the way over to that northern side of the hill, where there's an Evil Harvester that leads up the zip line on the outskirts of Command Center. Wolves Esports is going to be able to take that big jump tower too, and they see in the distance a scan on that survey beacon.
Yeah, Wolves do not want the part of any early fights. It looks like the Genji and Mouse were kind of cresting the hills there to get up to Zoo Station, but with that balloon, they'll get pretty deep. And it seems like TSM end up holding that northern building there, the zip line building, and will hold out Wolves for now. So Wolves are going to be in an awkward position unless somehow they can maneuver themselves further in, because you will start having a collapse of teams there eventually. Mouse are already positioning over there. Genji are taking their time over at Lightning Rod. But you have to expect other teams to start rotating in from that northeast end.
Trying to theorycraft here the composition for TSM. They were banking. They're literally the only team, because we don't ever see this played out as often, but they were the team banking on rotates because they actually came out with a Valkyrie composition. The only Valkyrie in this lobby just for the zone to pull on top of them instead. So now they have to prevent other teams from just getting information on their survey beacon on top of their building and still hold height to have the ring console also in their line of sight, because this is their POI, which means that they can really only boost up their own Evo shields with poke pressure looking at their weapon compositions.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense, right? You're at the most northern part of the map. This map goes downhill from north to south. The Valkyrie gets a lot of value with that skyward dive.
Yeah.
It is kind of unfortunate that it does end up pulling towards them. So it is going to be a bit more difficult for them to try to hold things down. We're already getting some early movement from that further northern side. Movistar Koi are actually wrapping around. They came from checkpoint and went all the way up north. Fnatic gave them the space because Fnatic ended up rotating from the south there, from the chokes instead. Now here on the scramble, Furia versus Z10. Not gets that knock on to Phoenix. We'll see if they can follow up and get that third. Keon's gonna try.
Get over here. Everyone's thirsty to try to get this extra KP, but it's a great fight for Furia to take right now. They're just making sure they're not going to get 3-peat, but they won't. No other team in the vicinity other than Na'Vi who are looking to make an appearance. But 010 have already left at this point. They're going to try to reset probably in Stormcatcher, where there is a Replicator and a Moby and an Evil Harvester, so it'd be great. Yeah, I mean,
so
they literally
split,
scattered
though.
so quick.
Ninja scatter, please. We Team Nemesis, though. I think this is Falcons. Oh, no, this is Edward Gaming. Excuse me. Just trying to hold things down. Do have eyes on a squad. And like we had mentioned, right, with all the bans that we've gotten so far, and the fact that we're still here on Storm Point, you can see the strength of those smokes with the Bangalore picks from some of our teams. And even though it doesn't provide you actual cover, the visual cover is enough sometimes to be able to get through situations like that when a Sheila is just staring you down.
It would have been quite a shame if the crypto drones would have just revealed where you're positioned around these smokes. Interesting to see that a lot of the counter picks coming out too, with teams trying to run the very similar compositions here, but it's going to be Noise who are going to now rotate on their own, Trident taking their time. One of the teams to play objective, of course, too.
Yeah.
And play on the edge of the zone. They're going to try to get at least the survey beacon, the ring console over by North Pad, take their time getting to this next zone, probably with purples as well. So you can see Team Orchid playing inside the bunkers this time around. Just have to make sure that their backs are cleared, because really if Noise wants to commit to this rotate and coming in from specifically the western side, they would probably either want to see if they could take a fight by that bunker side if they hear a fight going down already there, or by the southern choke that you had mentioned we saw Fnatic take originally.
Yeah. For Team Orchid here, though, again, it's just about surviving. They are on the bubble, right? Quote unquote. 17th place, 24 points. If it ended here, they would be moving on to the last chance qualifiers. But they have so many teams, or excuse me, like very little space for the teams behind them. So they cannot misstep. They cannot afford a 0-point game here whatsoever.
We've got an Evo.
We saw how close it was on the bottom end of those leaderboards. 18th through 20th are axed already in this first day, as Sentinels, another team who desperately needed those points, have now cleaned up NIP. That was huge here for Sentinels, and they're going to be able to reset too.
This is also another opportunity now for Falcons to continue to grow their lead. Remember, in that last game, it was 1 point between them, but now Falcons have a very comfortable lead to come out the lobby leaders here. And like you had mentioned, for Sentinels on the other side of the leaderboard, just trying to get into the top 17. But there's still a lot of room for movement. They can easily get into the top 17. Currently, it's Kino Trupp with 42 points. So an 18-point game here for Sentinels can easily get them up into that 7th place position. But with the KP that they already have, this is already looking great.
Makes it a little scary for Team Orchid, who are tied with those 24 points right there side by side. It's just Team Orchid just in a better position in terms of where they stand in this next zone, as long as they can make sure they can clear their backs, because there are two different entryways into that next zone, right? It's that south side and the bunker side too. You could technically take a little bit of that ring damage, it's completely fine to rotate from the north side, which is actually what Noah's did, because there's an Evil Harvester on that pathing. So Team Orchid probably heard that Trident looking behind them to make sure it's cleared, while AG now over by the Prowler side of things are going to be able to hold this hilltop here with that 30-30 right behind these rampart walls.
Yeah, this is really one of the few options that all gamers had, rotating in behind the priority teams, right? TSM, Movistar, all of them were able to get that north side of the wall, so they couldn't get any deeper into the zone. But this isn't bad at all whatsoever. But there is a small chance that maybe it continues to pull up to this hill. It's very unlikely, but if it does, AG, a team, again, that lost so much momentum, can get that back. Currently, they're sitting in 8th place with 40 points. Just 1 point, or a few points off from that 7th place position.
Good spot to hold, at least for right now, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's probably going to keep pulling over by the wall side, where a lot of these buildings we saw get taken really early on, while E36 trying to put in some pressure onto Team Nemesis.
E36, they've been on the hunt. They've slow rotated throughout all of this, and really, again, with a pull like that, you can't really expect to get in deep into this zone. And so trying to find the fights on the edges is going to be extremely important for them. They will be able to try and cut off Team Nemesis. I mean, Team Nemesis already showed that we're running into zone. The only natural movement for them is to continue their way on up from that eastern side to get to Lightning Rod. So Enderforce are just going to cut them off.
Even more important, while we're watching Enderforce rotate here, Genji just got involved in a fight. A team that's literally in like 16th place now after picking up points, and they took out 2 members of Na'Vi. Now the third party's coming in as Furia are looking to take the fight versus Gen G, and Edward Gaming aren't going to be moving from this position. They're actually going to stay here the whole time. They're going to try to waver off any pressure from the teams that try to take that spot, but I don't expect them to get pressured at any point for now, since they have the high ground, they have the Sheila ready to go, they have the Evo Harvester if any team wants to try to grab that in their line of sight. So even more important, looking at the teams that will be approaching from the east side. Furia see that it's already too late for the 3P, so they're backing out for now, maybe trying to find the straggler that is Na'Vi.
Oh my goodness, Na'Vi are on an adventure right now. Their solo player looking to try and get the res. So he's going to try and go out to Lightning Rod once again. He had to turn back around because of Enterforce, but hold on just a moment. Enterforce just drop on Knock, take him out with a 3-2-1. They do have a Sheila in their way. Madness holding the line. Keon backing them up. Great EMP. No, I think the drone got cleared here. Furious Drills still trying to hold on. 2v3, and there's the Knock to try and even things out. But E36 are able to converge on them and knock out Furia.
Oh, I know those comms are actually crazy from Madness. I know he got that knock, but he had to reload, and then we saw that last member of Furia also having to reload. Even better situation for E36 to get that initial jump and to get that first knock for them, while Na'Vi's still staying alive here, playing outside the zone after they got the res.
Yeah. Huge play out there for Hierarcha, and honestly, it was that aggression coming off from E36 that gave them that window to do so. Team Nemesis also kind of swerved away from that and actually are making their way towards Command Center. But now, as Na'Vi are working their way on in, Enterforce 36 is continuing to find knocks here and there. Na'Vi, though, in the scramble, are trying to find the best position to try and play off of here. It looks like they might be able to get the survey beacon scan.
Look at him dipping and dodging, shimmy-shading his way on the drone to get that information on their survey beacon. It's not for that Evo shield. They're maxed out with the purple, but even better to look at the teams waiting for them.
Yeah, they got it just in time. Gen G spotted that drone out, tried to take it out, but now Na'Vi, with crucial information here, know that they're going to have to avoid Enderforce 36. You can see now Hierarcha is making his way on back. They're going to move over towards Command Center. They know that Team Nemesis have just made their way on in, but they're starting to double back actually off of this.
Coming in from that bunker side, Mythic been out and about right next to Edward Gaming. Will they be able to get it, or will they feel the pressure away from Falcons who are off that low ground? Okay, charge rifle in the distance, finding the crack onto Hal's shield as AG staying in their position, looking at Gen G, looking to try to actually contest him for right down below.
Yeah, we didn't expect the ring to pull all the way up towards them, and so they were forced to move. Does seem like they find a moment here. Gen G aren't able to continue to push off of this right now. Noah's Fox, we're looking for an opportunity here, but they'll just only send one. AG, get that reset. EMP on out. Will stop the aggression from Gen G, but Zap goes down to that nade. Will crawl back to his squad, and now more nades come in.
It's raining nades, hallelujah. It's the way that they're just falling at their feet there too, because it's the third party, make it the fourth party. Noah's, who had made the rotate with the Trident, are looking to get involved over to the north side. Now they see Na'Vi going in for a 3P, but they still have the high ground advantage. Simultaneously though, there's a huge pile up over to the south side. We see Hao getting a double knock onto Z10, who are also trying to see if they can wrap up behind them, even looking at that Mythic bin. Sentinels also jumped on top of Edward Gaming and have now taken that exact building high ground away from them.
You can see Na'Vi continuing their rotate in. They were looking for that third party, but Noah's Fox played this one much safer, pulling back away. And take a look. If you can see on that mini-map, the ring will continue to pull up to the northwest side. TSM, of course, the team that dropped that wall, will be able to rotate in for that. EDG throughout all this end up getting knocked out here. And Na'Vi somehow are in one of the strongest positions here in the lobby. It's all up to Noah's Fox, though, to try and stop them from advancing further into the zone.
And Na'Vi hoping a little bit that Noah's could try to take some shots at them, but Gen G are in such a good position out of the line of sight of Noah's Fox. As you can see, Sheila out to play, shooting at the crypto drone right above them. It looks like Gen G wanted to try to approach, maybe with the opportunity of a crypto drone EMP, as Noah's Fox are trying to also get into a different angle. They want to stop this fight from happening, but they can't overcommit. They have to stay in their position, as Gen G are also looking behind them.
Yeah, you can hear all the 30-30 shots coming out from above them right now as Gen G will get the knock on the Ujako and finish off Na'Vi. Valiant effort there, but here's the third party from Enterforce 36. Asia on the slide in, just commits to this fight. Dexter the only one up for Gen G as an EMP comes in for the third party. Enterforce 36 will be able to get this reset. Never mind, possible third party once again.
Back to back. Look at the graveyard at their feet right now. E36 also trying to reset, taking a good amount of that damage. Oh, okay. We're shooting Ghost out here too, I guess. Trying to make sure they can find the crypto drone flying around them, who's invisible too, by the way. They heard it flying around them originally. You see the knock here. Sasuke in some trouble. Malika has the high ground, but takes so much damage.
And Noah's Fox played this one way too safe, keeping their anchor in the back instead of sending the full 3 to commit onto E36. So now it's a 2v2. Excuse me, a 2v3 in favor of Enterforce 36. Now here on the south side, Kinotrope trying to make their way on in, but it's Wolves Esports currently playing the gatekeepers.
Looking down at Kinotrope with some help from Fnatic on the other side of the wall. They slide down. They get the damage done. Miss out some PK shots, but the ring does the rest of the damage. It's a nail in the coffin. And we're seeing some pop-off moments right here as Wolves Esports still with 2 blue Evo shields are playing on the edge of the zone. The fact that E36 were also able to reset after the Mirage we saw go invisible to pop that medkit, to pop that back here. And then Noah's Fox had to back away now instead, having to play this out as a duo after they were here in that final zone from the beginning.
Yeah, we'll see if they do have mobile respawn beacon for themselves. The crypto drone is out right now to try and secure that death box, but you can see Enterforce 36, their only eyes are on Noah's Fox right now, and it does seem like they will be able to get that res. But throughout all this, Mouse note that and try to advance on their position. They know that one person is playing anchor back here. They've got the fight. Now they're pulling back with their third to try and go for this, but I think enough damage was done. Someone got knocked to the ring.
Yeah, that was the third.
Noah's Fox now have the advantage.
They just got the res there too, but it was too far out of the zone there. It did just enough damage, and now Mouse just walk up, left against the first knock here originally, but they're taking too much pressure here. Also from behind us, E36 walk up to get the 3P. Noah's are just in shambles. Only one member left of Noah's as now Fnatic walk up uncontested while the fight between TSM and Wolves Esports is going down in wall.
Massive game here though for both Fnatic and Enterforce 36. Fnatic, a win here basically secures them into the top 7. For Enterforce 36, that puts them on the bubble. Right now at 45 points, though, as Fnatic push forward, Wolves will get eliminated. E36 on the other side of this fight.
TSM have to now quickly get involved in this third party if they want an opportunity to take this game, especially while this fight is going for as long as it is. ALGS cannot clutch it out. He can't slide out of their line of sight. One of the teams rocking the Mirage's Fnatic at the res.
What is TSM doing?
They just finished that fight versus Wolves, but it took so long, and now they have no way to cross this distance because they're one of the teams with the Valkyrie, literally the only team with the Valkyrie, the Rampart, and the Newcastle to cross in this space. Now Fnatic have the high ground.
Full 3v3, and I was going to say the Evo in favor of Fnatic, but TSM let a huge nade. Lively's gets a knock. Colonel Garcia comes in for a second, and Fnatic take a massive win here. So much KP farm. They were able to move in early once again. Fnatic, are they just Storm Point demons?
Looks like it. It definitely looks like it. And great timing on when they had to rotate to 3P that fight. The unfortunate res that we saw from Noah's. We also saw the contention from E36 right behind them.